delighted that one of our assisting ministers, the Reverend Caroline Poyser, is helping me with today's service, and that Janet and Liz, both members of our Eco Church team, will be making presentations. And it's a joy to welcome some of our brands to church today. Thanks for being here and for leading the prayers later on. And during the singing of our opening hymn, we're going to be receiving your flags at the front of the church. And then in our second hymn, we'll have an opportunity to bring any food we're donating up to the front. That will be during the singing of All Things Bright and Beautiful. So now our service begins as we ask Caroline to lead us in our opening responses.
Our opening responses are on the service sheet. Would you please join in the words in bold print? Generous and sustaining God, on this day we thank you for a world rich in beauty, productive and nourishing, a world worthy of our care, stewardship and respect. Generous and life-sustaining God, on this day we thank you for our food, wholesome and plentiful, our water, clean and drinkable, our medicines safe and available, our homes warm and comfortable. Generous and life-sustaining God, on this day we thank you for all your gifts to us, and in our thanksgiving accept our praise and prompt us to be generous to others. The Lord be with you. Let us now sing our hymn, number 124. We plough the fields and scatter.
Please be seated. And so we come to God now with an opening prayer, and we'll join together in the words of the Lord's Prayer at the end. So let us all pray. Gracious and generous God, we thank you for Harvest Festival Sunday, a day for us to celebrate the beauty and wonder of the world. We have food to eat, clothes to wear, houses to live in, and medicines to take when we are ill. Thank you, our generous and sustaining God, for all the benefits we enjoy living on our beautiful, productive, and yet fragile planet. Help us in our service together to sing your praise, to listen out for your word, and bring you our prayers. We confess that all too often we take our world for granted. Prompt us to walk lightly, in partnership with all creation. Prompt us to care for our environment and to be compassionate in our support of those who this evening will go to bed hungry. Good and generous God, the heavens declare your glory, and today we join our praise with all creation in a spirit of thanksgiving and gratitude. And our prayers and praises we unite as we join together in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. speaks to us of the fruit of the Spirit, a harvest of good qualities that we all hope and pray can be part of our lives. It's going to be read by Mary, another member of our Eco-Church team, who heads up the wonderful team who tend our church garden throughout changing seasons. It's been really great this year. Perhaps on your way out of church, why not go round there and see a wonderful church garden.
Our New Testament reading is taken from Galatians chapter 5, verses 22 to 25. And this can be found on page 169 of our Pew Bibles. That's page 169 in our Pew Bibles. But the harvest of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, fidelity, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Those who belong to Jesus Christ have crucified the old nature with its passions and desires. If the Spirit is the source of our life, let the Spirit also direct its course. In this is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.
Thank you, Mary, for reading to us. Well, just opposite our church, there is the wonderful Hospice of St. Francis shop. And on their name board across the shop, they have three very important words: love, create, sustain. And some of you have noticed those words and suggested they might provide a good framework for a talk in church. So here goes. In this service, I'll be talking about love, Janet about create, and Liz on the theme of sustain. And when you leave church this morning, why not glance across the road and see those words in situ? Harvest is a great time for us to remember how much we might love the natural world around us. The Bible constantly talks about loving nature and then loving the God behind nature. There are verses, we've already quoted it this morning in the prayer, like these from the Psalms: the heavens declare the glory of God. And I wonder how many times you've heard people say things like, I love this time of year. Perhaps it's their favourite time of year to be the spring, the summer, the autumn, and even for some people, the winter. In the Old Testament, our Jewish cousins loved the world around them so much that they didn't have one, but three harvest festivals in their temple in Jerusalem. And a very wise Jewish teacher, Dr. Jonathan Sacks, once said, science is about taking the world apart to see what it's made of. Faith is about putting it back together again to see what it's made for. Nature can often be our teacher, and perhaps that's why Jesus once said to his listeners that they should consider the lilies of the valley. Nature can also thrill us with its beauty. We once had a friend staying with us, and we took her up to her room. She lingered on the landing stairs and looked out of the window and said, "Oh, what a lovely garden." We felt very proud. And then she said, "Your neighbours must spend hours making it look so nice." It's then that we realised it wasn't our garden, but theirs that she was looking at. So what could it mean for us on Harvest Festival Sunday to say that we love our gardens, we love the colourful flower beds of Amersham in bloom, we love living in the wonderful Chiltern Hills? Well, I've asked 4 brownies. They've got the words L-O-V-E, if they might come and just be with us at the front for a moment. So we're going to spell out the word love. Thank you very much. Perhaps when I talk about your letter, you could just hold it high up. So let's start with the letter L. The letter L. Maybe that could remind us that even though we human beings are so very powerful, we can all learn from nature. Every gardener knows that, and maybe every scientist does too. Nature has so much to teach us, and we can learn from nature. How about the letter O? Thank you. O. Part of our love expressed at harvest is for us to offer food for Hope Now. We're going to do that in a few moments. Everything in the display at the front will go tomorrow to Watford, to a homelessness centre that helps people who are in difficulties and who have homelessness as part of their lives. We can offer food today. Over the last month here at church, people have been making their offering towards Operation Agri, working in the 2/3 world. The letter V is the next one. We show our love for nature by valuing it. All that we're trying to do as individuals and as a nation to reduce our carbon footprint is because we value nature and we want to pass it on to succeeding generations in good shape. And then there's E, our last letter that makes up the word love. And I think that this could stand for simply enjoying nature. To go for a walk in the countryside, to enjoy growing your own fruit and veg, to paint a lovely picture of a beautiful view, or to write a poem about the busyness of an ant. All ways of loving nature and enjoying it. Thank you very much indeed, girls. And in a way, that's what we say with the psalmist, that the heavens declare the glory of God. So let me close with the words of two famous people who obviously loved nature. Albert Einstein once said, "Look deep into nature and then you'll understand everything better." And years ago, the medieval period, Leonardo da Vinci said, "Heaven is under our feet as well as above our heads." Harvest, it's a time to really love and give thanks for the world around us. We're going to sing together now. It's the hymn, All Things Bright and Beautiful. It's on our orders of service. And as we sing this hymn, we invite you, if you've brought goods to church today, to bring them up to the front. There'll be some helpers here who'll help you put them on the display and take them from you. And tomorrow we'll take those goods to Hope Now in Watford. Your gifts are received as we sing our hymn together.
So, hopefully you can see that well enough. I realise from the back it's maybe a bit small, but that is our wonderful church garden, in case you haven't seen it, just outside. It's one of the best things I think we have created at Amersham Free Church, our church garden, and many of you were involved with that. It wouldn't have happened without the creativity and the wisdom of some of our members, to whom we are very grateful. If you see the picture, you'll see a mass of different colours. Now, if there are any children that can't really see the picture and would like to come and sit here, you can come and sit right here in front of me. It might be easier to see. Come forward if you'd like to, because I've got something else to show you as well, which it'll be easier to see if you're here. Come on, go and sit down here. Okay, that's fine. So, what colours can you see there? Anybody? What colour? I know they're not very bright. It was much better on my laptop. What colours can you see? Blue, yeah. What else?
Purple.
Pink, did you say? Purple, purple, yes. What else? Yellow, yeah. And obviously, the most obvious, green, yes. Green. It's all very green at the moment, isn't it? Why are they these bright colours, do you think, these flowers? What's the idea of having bright colours? Do you know? Yes? Why do you have bright colours? Any of the adults tell us why they've got bright colours?
For the bees.
For the bees, to attract insects, isn't it? To attract maybe bees. Well done, Jenny, yes. To attract the bees. To attract butterflies, maybe. All sorts of insects, including insects that like eating them, like caterpillars and earwigs and slugs. But there's a reason for all of those things. We need all those insects. Now, these creatures have their own hotel. They've got a bug hotel. And if you look closely in the real garden, I'm afraid you can't see ants and things from here, but you will if you go and have a look. You might see all sorts of creatures living in it. We need the insects to help keep the balance of everything in the garden and in our environment as a whole. Everything is created for a reason. Last year, a citizen science survey was done to find out how many flying insects we still have in this country. They asked people to clean their number plates, go on a journey and see how many insects ended up squashed on the number plates. This was done in 2004 and then again in 2023. And it was really worrying to discover that the number of flying insects has dropped by nearly 4/5 in nearly 20 years. Now, that's not just because they're all squashed on number plates. There are lots of reasons for this, such as the loss of habitat, pollution, and the use of pesticides. But we can do something about it. So this bug hotel has been created for a reason, to encourage these insects, to protect them, so that they can go on adding their own contribution to our environment. But to me, this may seem odd. This is the most amazing part of creation. What is that there on the left of the picture? Yes? It's a compost bin, yes. A compost bin. What can you put in it? Here's one I made earlier. What can you see in that compost bin? It smells a bit, sorry. What can you see?
Strawberries.
Strawberries, yes. The tops are strawberries. What else?
Is it sticks?
A few sticks. Well, there's stems of flowers, yes.
There's some, like, it looks like, I don't know what it is, it just looks like sweet corn or something.
Maybe some sweet corn in there, some dead flowers, because I was deadheading the dahlias the other day. Some leaves, aren't there?
Definitely some leaves. Does that
So, if you can see there, I don't know if you can with that, I don't want to tip it on the carpet, I would be very unpopular. But in there, there's all sorts of stuff that we put in our compost bin inside. And then we put it into the bigger bin outside. Now, It's amazing what happens to that, because all the insects get to work on it. In particular, do you know what in particular works in a compost heap? Alistair, you know, because you look inside the compost heap every time you come. What's in it? Worms. Lots and lots of worms. And they work their way, they eat it, they excrete it, and they do all sorts of things. What other insects?
Lots and lots of slugs. Like, they're on the bit when you close the lid, so they're always, you have to get like a stick to poke.
They are. The slugs always get into the bit where we close the lid, don't they? But it's masses of slugs. What else? Ants and beetles and all sorts. But after they've done their work, this is what we end up with. It's soil. It's compost, and it's still got some worms in it. But they're all right, they're still working away in there. And that's what it is. It's compost. You see why I mean you had to be close. You see the worms, they're wiggling away. They're wiggling away in there. You see, they're doing their work. Right.
Many people say it's ill, but it's not.
So now, that is what's so amazing about creation, isn't it? Because that can now go back onto the garden. It's really good soil, it's very fertile, and you can put it back either to plant things directly into it, or you can put it back into the soil to make it more fertile. Now, the last few pictures show us how creative you all are. The brownies and some of our children did these pictures. You'll see them much better when you have a look in outside. But our Hands Together group that is in this church has a lot of very creative people. And for our eco fair the other day, they made all sorts of things to show their love of nature and how we should protect nature. Made with beads, embroidery, knitting, all sorts of things. Those were made with beads, all of those. We should protect our environment. Next one. Is it not going to go on? Ah, that blank is in the wrong place. Never mind. Technology. But we have one more thing which we want to show you, which is a beautiful collage that some of the children in this church made. Now, we've got it here. It was on there. It's much better to see it in real life. Some of you, Jess, I think you're needed. Some of you can go and help Janet to show this picture. What's happened there?
Oh, it's there. Okay.
I think you went backwards. Where's it gone? Oh, it's on its way down. So if you look, it's just coming down here. So this is how creative some of us can be. That's the collage that shows our beautiful church garden. If you can hold it up, can you maybe? It's a little bit bendy and fragile. Yeah. There. So that shows how creative we can be. Everybody here might think they're not very creative, but it's amazing what you can produce when you try. Well done, children and young people and their leaders, for producing that. And God's creation is well worth preserving, and this generation is the one that we're going to be relying on to do it, I think. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Let us now say a responsive psalm, which is Psalm 8, and it's on our service sheet. Please will you join in the words in bold. How great is your name, O Lord our God, through the earth, all the earth. Your majesty is praised above the heavens. and found upon the lips of children and babes. When I see the heavens, the work of your hands, the moon and the stars which you arranged, what are we that you should keep us in mind? Yet you have made us little less than gods. With glory and honor you crowned us, giving us power over the works of your hand. All of them, sheep and cattle, yes, even the savage beasts. How great is your name, O Lord our God, through all the earth. In this is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. And let us now sing the hymn, When I Needed a Neighbour, Were You There? It's on our service sheets.
So God loves and invites us to love in response. God creates, and because we are made in the image of God, we too create. God sustains with continuing love and care. We have a relationship with God which sustains us. And we have a relationship with our fellow human beings and with the other beings that live and grow around us and sustain us in so many ways. But we know that in order to keep on giving, our environment too needs care. And we know that because of things we are only just beginning to understand, our environment and the people who live in vulnerable parts of the world are under strain. So what do you think is happening here? What do you think? Water, is that what you said? Yes. These children are transporting water. These rolly things are called hippo rollers. I could have shown you a slide of children carrying heavy buckets, which some children have had to do before they go to school in the morning. I could have shown you a slide of women with containers balanced on their heads or their shoulders. Water still has to be carried a long distance because there are nowhere near enough pipes and taps for African rural communities. But hippo rollers can be pulled along. And it even looks like fun, doesn't it? They can deliver enough water for drinking water, domestic use, and for watering vegetables, so that the growing of food crops can be sustained. And here are some lovely vegetables. They're in Bangladesh this time. What would you say that vegetable crops need to grow into nourishing and sustaining food? What do you think? Sun? Is that what you said? Yes. What else? Water. Indeed, they need water. Anything else? Yes, somebody there. 2 people. Yes. Yeah, and behind? Soil. They need good soil. As you've been shown some good soil this morning, or some good stuff to mix in with the soil. All true. Now, I don't think you would include salt, would you? And indeed, the way the land is in some places getting saltier, being polluted with seawater because of rising sea levels, means that formerly productive areas are being ruined. But these vegetables are varieties that have been developed which thrive in salty water. It's also possible to grow strains of rice in saltwater paddies and wheat, which can be watered with seawater. Amazing. Okay, now what is being built here? Yes? It's called a dam, isn't it? Yes, a river. It's built across a river to stop the flow. Now, it's not obvious exactly what's happening. Rainfall is seasonal in many parts of Africa. Floods, followed by drought, followed by floods. Water can be held back by a dam like this during the dry times, for use during the dry times, but much of it would evaporate in the heat, wouldn't it? So this is a sand dam. Within a few months, the river will bring sand and sediment which will collect behind the dam. And the water which brings the sand will soak into the sand and be stored so that there isn't evaporation. And the water will be filtered clean, ready to be collected all year round. Where do these wonderful ideas come from? Well, some come from local people. There was a lovely film a while back about a schoolboy who had the idea of bringing wind power to his village to lift up the underground water for the crops. He had seen his family's livelihood wither and threaten to die, and other families had to leave or starve. This boy had been lucky enough to go to school for long enough to earn a university place and develop his idea. Some ideas come from researchers. like those developing strains of salt-hardy plants in Europe and in America for use in other parts of the world. Organisations like Operation Agri and many others working on the ground can bring these ideas to the people growing food in adverse conditions so that they can sustain hope and grow food to sustain their families. If we send money, and if we find out about the good things that are happening, we can support them with prayer and with committed interest, so we can be part of it too.
Well, our thanks to Liz and to Janet for their lovely talks to us this morning about love, create and sustain. We're going to have our prayers now for others, and I'm delighted that the Brownies are going to come and lead us in our prayers today. Some of the Brownies and guides and rangers are attending, or at least their leaders, a special service in Westminster Abbey today, which celebrates the work of guiding. But now some of our Brownies are going to come and lead us in our prayers together from the lectern. So thank you very much.
Living God, at this season of harvest, we want to say thank you for the beauty and abundance of the world around us. Here in church this morning, we pause in appreciation for the wonder of the changing season and nature's annual miracle of fields full of wheat and trees heavy with fruit. Lord of the harvest, we praise you today.
We thank you for those to whom we owe this harvest, workers on farms and in agriculture, sailors and fishermen who risk their lives on seas, miners and engineers who help supply the raw materials for industry.
Scientists and technicians who help develop better crops, employees in shops and factories who labour to satisfy our demands. Lord of the harvest, we praise you today. Generous God, help us to remember those who do not share equally in the rewards of the harvest, the poor, the hungry, the homeless, the oppressed, those overwhelmed by disaster, and those whose crops have failed. Inspire us to share from our plenty with all who cry out for help. Lord of the harvest, we praise you today. We pray for ourselves and those we love. Each day we may know your help and strength in our daily lives. Be especially close to those who are bereaved or anxious, and those who know us who are in hospital or unwell at home.
May we this week be generous in our love and encouragement of one another. Lord of the harvest, we praise you today.
And we want to say a big thank you to all the girls for leading us so beautifully in our prayers for other people. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a real delight to have everyone in church singing God's praise and taking part in whatever way. And thank you for your generosity, and all these good gifts will be sent to Hope Now Ministries in Watford tomorrow. So if you're able to stay for a cup of tea or coffee, please join us afterwards in our church hall. But we remain standing now for a final prayer of blessing. And the first is from the Corramelia community in Ireland. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. And deep peace of the Son of Peace to you. So go in peace, live in love, and serve with faithfulness. And may the blessing of God go with you and rest upon those you love, both near and far, today and always.